Okay, the hint is to rewrite it as sine x over cosine x because that is what tangent equals. So we're going to do that first. Y equals sine x over cosine x. Now we have to do the quotient rule. Remember, when you divide, that's called a quotient. So that's why it's the quotient rule. And this is low, and this is high. That means y prime equals low times the derivative of the high minus high times the derivative of the low all over low. Now, this is kind of gross looking, so we're going to simplify it a little bit. So y prime equals cosine times cosine is cosine squared x. And then we have a negative and a negative right here. So since we're multiplying, that's going to give us a positive sine squared x all over, and I'm just going to write cosine squared x because this is the same thing. Cosine x squared is the same as cosine squared x. So if you remember from your trig identities, this is what? That is 1. So we can rewrite this y prime as 1 over cosine squared x. And cosine squared x is reciprocals of what? Secant. So really, this is secant squared x. Here's another problem that I thought was interesting that you might need a little help with. So there's something I want to show you guys, and right now I want you to be sure to write things symbolically before you plug numbers in, and that's just going to help you organize everything and get it correct. So I saw some people today not writing this symbolically, and it messed them up a little bit. This is two separate functions. F of t is one function, and g of t is one function, and they're multiplied together. So when you have two separate functions that are multiplied together, you must use the product rule. Remember, multiplication says product, so we're using the product rule. So what I want you to do is do the product rule first and then plug numbers in. So h prime of t is the first, which is f of t, times the derivative of the second, which is g prime t, plus the second, which is g of t, times the derivative of the first, which is f prime of t. So once I've taken the derivative, so you first have to take the derivative of h of t, and then you can plug in the 5. So f of 5 times g prime of 5 plus g of 5 times f prime of 5. So we're going to use our guide up here to see what these things are, and let's do it. So f of 5 is right here. F of 5 is literally just 3, so we're going to put that here. And then g prime of 5 is 1/2. There's g prime of 5, that is 1/2. Awesome. And now this is a little weird because usually you have numbers, but we don't. Actually, g prime of 5 is this entire equation, which is weird. I know you're thinking you plug in 5, but you don't. Literally, g of 5 is this. So you put 2x minus 1. And the same thing goes with f. F prime of 5 is literally this equation. I know, it's a little strange, but you just have to be really careful when you're reading notation to see what they're saying. So h prime of 5 equals, we have 3 over 2 plus, and it's going to be 6x squared minus 3x plus 14x minus 7. And then we're going to add that together. So 7 is going to become 14 over 2, so we can have common denominators, right? And so that's going to equal 6x squared minus 11x, and then minus 14 minus 3 is going to be 11 over 2. And that's it. That's what h prime of 5 is. Thanks, guys.